Investors and traders, welcome to the channel. Market chart pattern today is 19th of February 2025. Hope everyone is having a great day. We will take a look at the key US technology stocks for this video segment. As always, the video is for educational purposes only and it is not a financial advice. So let's start by taking a look at the Meta stock. So this is a daily chart, and here we had a price target of on the daily chart roughly around $670 per share level, which was met, and on the weekly chart $690, which was also met and exceeded. Now what the Meta has done is that in fact it set a probably a new record where it just the stock went up 19 or 20 days straight. This is something which was reported in media outlets, so you can actually check that. And what we are seeing now is actually a pullback happening. So a stock which has gone up, for straight up for these many days, it's likely to have a pullback, and it's pulling back right into this 20-day moving average, which should provide support. But as far as we are concerned, we had our target met, so we are just watching the stock from the sidelines, waiting for another pattern formation, perhaps a pullback for the stock. The Meta stock remains very strong, so you can have a look at this on the weekly chart. Here we had this ABCD pattern drawn, which was giving us a target of 690 roughly. This was forecasted weeks and months in advance. The old-time subscribers know about this on the channel, and really happy to actually say that the target was met and exceeded. So for now, just watching the price action. Personally, I've also been out of the stock. I just took profits around 690 to 700 level personally, and also watching this again. This is not a financial advice. Just watching the price action in the stock now. Now let's take a look at the stock of Apple. You can see that Apple has also done pretty well ever since hitting our $220 per share level, which is the exactly 61.8% retracement. And this is where we had pointed out that we have a confluence of the market symmetry. So this is how much the previous pullback was, and the 61.8% retracement. So we had a confluence of two things coming together, and it is always an area we pay very, very close attention to. And we have seen a nice rebound on the Apple stock. Now Apple got a chance to actually go and hit about $263. That will be our shorter term target for the Apple stock. And on the daily chart, we can see, here we go, at one point when it had a move like this, I thought maybe it could be in this ABCD to the downside, so maybe a little bit more downside for the Apple stock, but that did not pan out. It's right at the 61.8% retracement on the daily chart again, but the weekly chart is actually showing there's a fair amount of strength in there. The week is not complete yet, so things can change, but it's right in this region where I would expect some sort of resistance for the stock to come in and perhaps a pullback. That pullback can even happen up till this 20-day moving average, which is around $233 per share level right now. Now let's take a look at Amazon. And Amazon has had a nice pullback. Let's actually take a look at this on the weekly chart, which is the longer term chart we are following. And the Amazon actually had a pullback around this week, which is a fair amount of pullback on a daily chart level. And it was something to do with their earnings, but we have this big ABCD completing right here. So I'm not surprised the stock is having a pullback. Now, if we take a look at some of the retracements the stock has done, this is the shorter term retracement or a pullback we can expect, and we can also expect this is a longer one. It was in fact about 25%, roughly 25% pullback that could happen. The chances of this happening, in my opinion, in this one is a little bit less. We'll have to see how this pullback will unfold. So 216 is the level I'm watching, so it's about $10 lower to where the market closed today. But if it begins to exceed that, then we can say that perhaps the kind of correction which is taking place, it could take several forms. Maybe it will be an A, B, C, D, and we could expect perhaps the market to pull back perhaps right into this point, bigger B point right here. so around 188 $190 per share level, which is going to be another roughly around 25% or so pullback near about that. So let's see how the Amazon stock will the price action will show. So here we had this 253 as the 1.618 expansion. So that level is only if it is able to get above these highs. But right now it looks like maybe there's further pullback to happen. And now one thing I just noticed is this was a small pullback which had happened in this leg right here, and the stock has already done that. So if we begin to exceed these levels, so this red one, and then I think this 216 comes into the play, and if it begins to exceed that, then we are looking at 193 this region. Okay, so let's now take a look at the stock of Tesla. This is the weekly chart of Tesla, and Tesla had a fair pullback in the week of 10th of February, and I'll show you the pattern that we're watching on the daily chart. And this pullback is right into, if we just take this, looks like a 50% pullback on this one. Here we go. Well, actually it's missed it by a little bit. And if we take a look at this on the from this one, which is the 2023 lows, and there we go. And right here it had a 38.2% retracement, which is quite common in a pullback. And here we go. So this is the pattern that we were watching. We had a 38.2% retracement, and we also had this multiple ABCDs, with this orange one CD leg being 1.618 times the AB leg. The red one was the one-to-one price projection, and we have seen the stock actually hold this level, which is nice, but the momentum is still not as strong because the price is below the 20-day moving average, but it is being held by the 89 period moving average. So the chances are it might actually go sideways, maybe a little bit lower back into this trading range, and it will just wait for its moving averages to catch up. Once it begins to close above the 20-day moving average, which also happens to be above the 89 period moving average, then the stock will be actually gaining good momentum, and we could see a further upside. So I'm not putting any upside targets right now, but $500 even is what we can look at. But if we were to, we can just take an expansion of this high to this low, and then we can come up with some shorter term targets on the daily chart. But right now, just watching this price action really carefully, I think we are going in for a squeeze, more of a sideways price action, maybe a little bit lower. The key is that at this point D remains held. It's not broken to the downside for this pattern to play out. Let's take a look at the Microsoft, and let's take a look at this on the weekly chart, because this is where we're following it. And now I'm doing it this midweek. It's not the end of the week, but some of these patterns have been in play. So it does appear to me that this $455 per share level was pretty good resistance, and we might be actually in this red ABCD to the downside, which could see the stock pull back into $370 per share level, where we will also have the 38.2% retracement. So this is the level I'm really carefully watching for. There's a possibility the stock could actually pull back into this level. On the flip side, it just needs to get above the 455 convincingly for the upside. Now let's take a look at Netflix, NVIDIA actually. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. Here we go. So this is the weekly chart of NVIDIA. Now NVIDIA had a nice bounce back from this trend line right here. So it's in a situation where we could see that perhaps there could be overhead resistance like this, and then of course we have this trend line right here. So it might be actually, it is a trending range, is bouncing up and down quite a bit. And on the daily chart, here we go, we can see it went right into this right into this box we had drawn for good support, and from there it has bounced back. So if you were a short-term trader, pretty good, nice move for you. Longer term, I'm not really sure. If we just watch all of this activity right here, there could be a fair amount of distribution, and the stock has been gapping up and gapping down quite a bit, which is something I don't like to see. I know this is a stock in which which is trending, and people like to get in, get out. Perhaps, I don't know. I mean, I personally don't like a lot of these gaps in here. While we are taking a look at this, let's take a look at in chips, the AMD stock. So in AMD, a subscriber had actually made a request that I take a look at some of the key levels that might exist in terms of support and perhaps an entry if someone is looking for um, a long entry into this stock. So I came up with these cycles, or you may call them, these are projections. And I had a level where we had a number of these coming together. So you can see the smaller blue one coming in around 114 per share level. And then we had the we also, sorry, the it came around 108, around 108 level, 108.50 perhaps, roughly around that ballpark figure. We also had a 1.272 expansion of this. Um, Basically, this is the uh, CD, this BC leg coming in right where pretty much the bottom actually came in, which has been held thus far. So I don't really fully know whether this is the bottom, but it's some sort of a bottom right here. And then we had this big black one, which actually points a little bit down towards 103 level, but this is the ballpark figure. And thus far the stock has actually done something which it has not done in quite a while. And what I mean by that is it's put up a series of bullish days. So you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So about 7 bullish days. These um, really small candles. They look like dojis, but they are actually also bullish. So I'm counting them as bullish. So this is something which we do not see in here. So this is a change of character, in my opinion. It does look like it's a short covering the way it is moving like this, and we can even draw a trend line. And watch for the break of this trend line or something like this. Now the key is really that if we just look at some of the retracements that had taken place, this is the biggest one, and if we just project it from here, if we begin to close above this and some of these swing points right here, perhaps at $130 per share level, that's gonna indicate that this severe downward pressure the stock had been under, it's abating. Whether it becomes like a rocket ship, unless they come up with some really innovation like NVIDIA and market catches onto it, I'm not really sure. Most likely it's gonna be the shorts. If they begin to exit, we're gonna see a move higher, then move lower back into the range, and then the shorts actually begin to at some point will capitulate, and then we begin to start a motive wave higher. But these are the regions that we have been watching for, and thus far the market has actually held these levels. So this is what we are watching now. Something really interesting is happening. You see this moving average, the blue one is 20-day moving average. The price is just about that, right around there. So we could see some pressure, selling pressure come into this. Maybe it goes back into the trading range, consolidate, and if the begins to close above the 20-day price begins to close above the 20-day moving average, that is going to be a positive sign from the shorter term trading perspective. Let's take a look at the Z scaler. Actually, let's take a look at Netflix. Taking a look at Netflix. And Netflix, wow, so it just keeps on making new all-time highs. Is on the daily chart. Let's actually go back to the weekly chart. Here we go. So it's going through some pullback, but it reached our higher target as well of $130 per share level, which was the 1.618 expansion. I don't have any further targets right now. I think the chances are the market is just gonna consolidate right here, maybe move back into the trading range. Fantastic company. Investors just love this stock. There you go. And then let's take a look at Zscaler, then we'll take a look at Roblox. So the Zscaler keeps on creeping up higher. It seems to be forming a nice um, rounded bottom kind of pattern. I think it really needs to get above $220 per share level for a move higher. I think now the chances are increasing, especially if it begins to close above the 220 dollars per share level on closing weekly basis, that we are in this CD leg higher, and we could see 320 on the cards. Anywhere between 313 to 324 is the scare. Pretty volatile stock, but now I think once it gets above 220, I think it's gonna find some nice buyers. We could see some nice trend develop, like the kind of trend we saw right here. And this was the region which is really choppy. You can see it was just going up, down, up, down, up, down. Big up days, big down days, big confusion days. Well, this is a weekly chart, so big confusion weeks actually, but it held really nicely this 150 level, which was the 61.8% retracement, and never closed below that. So I think I'm gonna remove this ABCD for now, and wait to see the break of 220, which will make it pretty interesting for us. Now let's take a look at a Roblox. And here we go. So the Roblox went through a long consolidation for several years. This is a classic consolidation type of the Wyckoff. If you're familiar with Wyckoff's work, he came up with the accumulation and distribution models. You can do some Google research and find. But this is more like a coiling spring example. It's like a spring which is just coiling, and then you release that energy and it just moves out of it. So this is what the stock has seen, and we had been targeting the 63 to $67 per share level as our target, because of the 38.2% retracement. So the market actually, the week of 3rd of February, when the earnings came out, actually hit our target, exceeded. Now our target has been met. We're just watching the price action, and you can see it's in a trading range. The chances are the price might just go in a trading range for quite some time. The moving averages will catch up. We are watching for some sort of a pattern formation. It'll be really nice if we get an ABCD. Perhaps we're not going to see that on the weekly chart, but most likely on the daily chart. This is what I was something that I had actually in fact drawn when the market had reached its high. It would be really nice that we get a pullback, something like this. Now it's possible that we get an ABCD like this, but it's also possible we get something of a more complex structure. So we get an ABCD, then we get a corrective, well, we get another leg higher, ABCD higher, and then we could have a straight move like this, or we could have another complex ABCD. We'll have to wait and see, but this is what we are watching in the Roblox, and I will keep you guys informed. So thank you very much for watching the video. I think I've covered all the major tech stocks that we are following. Oh, I forgot, sorry, my bad. Alibaba. So I'm gonna include this. I've done a special video about this last week on the Alibaba stock, and I had a mistake in the spelling, which I've also corrected, so thank you for pointing that out. One of the subscribers did. So here we go. You can see that it's gone into a really long consolidation, quite similar to what we have seen in the stock of Roblox, but a little bit different. But you can see it says, coiling in this spring sort of fashion. And now it's probably going for a breakout, but it's right at these levels where we have a structural resistance. And also we have this brown ABCD, really where the stock pretty much hit today, but a little bit higher as well. So our target is 160, which is 38.2% retracement. So if the stock is actually breaking out, that would be the first target I would expect it to reach. It's quite similar to what we have seen in Roblox as an example. Now let's go back in history of this stock and look. This is where it formed a double bottom, and this is quite similar to what is happening right now. It took the stock a long time to get into this consolidation, and it began to build a lot of energy, and at one point it looked like maybe it might roll over, but it wasn't until sometime in August of 2016 that it had enough energy to break out and a pullback and never look back. So it looks like the stock is in that sort of stage. Now, what might be the reason that the stock is doing this? There are several things in the news. There's talk about partnership between Apple and Alibaba with regards to in artificial intelligence apps on their phones, etc. In China. There could be some stimulus measures by the Chinese government to support the Chinese economy in broader terms, but some of that enthusiasm coming into the stock market as well. There could be many reasons, but this is what we are watching technically. The channel focuses on the technical analysis, and my personal opinion is that the news follows the price. So the price actually moves first, and this is what we are trying to forecast using our methods. And there is enough material on the channel where you can see some of the targets that we are forecasted, like in Meta, quite recently met also in Roblox. So there we go. This is what we are watching in the key US technology stocks that we like to follow, and also the Alibaba, which is an ADR listed on the New York Stock Exchange. If you happen to like the video and you learned something from the video of educational value, please do subscribe to the channel, and if you do, then hit that bell icon button. That way you will know when the new videos are posted and you will not miss any videos being posted. Also, if you happen to like the video, then hit that like button. I will really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Good luck, good trading, and speak to you guys soon.